All right, before we get started, first of all, welcome to Google Meet, which is going to be our new platform. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. What would you guys like to talk about before we get started? Anything in particular? Any kind of questions? We talked about our Orlando headshot session last week. It went really well, and then our Tampa one went well. Hopefully you guys be happy with the outcome of that. Friday is what they're telling me for pictures being back. So they're telling us Friday. And that includes Tampa. They're going to throw them in there as well. So Friday it is. Some of you guys apparently took a little more work than others. I don't know. They're touching them all up, whatever it is. So one of the things I want to cover with you guys today is something that we've been having a little bit of trouble with, not necessarily all of you, but some of you have been having a little bit of trouble with, and maybe you can find some tools and help out your fellow agents on some tools, the things they can learn from the Property Appraiser site. You guys, obviously you guys will use that at some point because you have to get the owners' names right and everything else, but what other tools and stuff are you guys finding there? And I'm going to share my screen. Attempt to. All right, here it goes. Sorry, guys, I'm just learning this. Okay, you guys see that okay? Mm-hmm. I guess, okay. You want me to blow it up? It looks small on my screen. I don't know how it looks on your screen. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. All right, is that better? Okay. Property search. You guys, somebody shout out a number. Anybody? Oh, two. Good. 2, 5, 6, 4. And a letter. J. I'm seeing J. Okay. Oh, there you go. 2564 Junior Avenue. That's the first thing that popped up. So let's look at that. I'm just going on the Orange County site. You guys know how to work all the other sites, but this one's one I want to go through. All right. So you see the owners' names. What kind of information can we find out from the Property Appraiser site, guys? I need some.
You can get building permits. You can go into the building permits.
Okay. And how do I do that, Tammy?
Property features.
Uh-huh.
Scroll down. Oh, wait. Scroll down. Right. Wait. Scroll back up.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the, go back down. Oh, right there. View Orange County permits.
View Orange County
on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I see it.
Continue to site.
Mm-hmm.
And scroll down, and those are your permits.
So how old's the roof?
05? Is that what that says? Or 09?
It says 09. Sorry. It's hard to see. It says 09. What year was the house built?
88.
88. Yep. All right. Sorry about that. Go back here. All right, great. What else can we find out about this house?
You can find out the utilities companies, the HOA, under location tab.
Utilities companies and HOA under the location tab. Okay.
And schools.
And schools, right? Very nice. Do we need that information? We do if we want to be thorough on the MLS and everything, everywhere else, right? And people are going to ask these things. I can't tell you how many of you guys will call and ask and do everything else about the age of a roof and do this. And the listing agent never got back to me on how old the roof is and all that stuff. If there's no other roof permit pulled, it's as old as the house. Okay. So that's how old it is. Sorry, I keep getting people wanting to come in and anything that changes flashes on my screen. I'll get used to that. So What else can we find out about the house? Thank you, Tammy. What else can we find out?
On the screen or a different screen?
Any screen.
The values one, you can find out if they're the taxes and the CDD.
What else can we find out there? The taxes, if they're using homestead, if there's a CDD, also
if they're current.
Yep.
Or there's also an estimator on there too that you can estimate taxes.
To make next year, etc. Right. What else can we find out? We had this discussion, this one about taxes a couple of weeks ago, I think. People concerned about taxes on a property once once it sells for a lot more than the last person paid for it, because the government does increase the assessments. They'll reassess when the market goes up. I'm sure most of us got reassessed the last couple of years. And they don't really, like when we had the crash back in 09 and 10, I don't know if you guys know this, but there were typically lawyers who just set up a little office in their shop and were sending out thousands of letters to homeowners whose property values had been reassessed in 2007, 2008. And then when 2009, the government was not reassessing to lower them. And so they would argue them for you. They would, appeal them for you for a quarter of whatever they saved you. So whatever they saved you, they'd appeal you for a quarter. So they would make $1,000 or whatever for $500 or whatever it was. And it was just a letter they would fire off to the county, and the county would lower your taxes. And whatever they lowered, they got a quarter or half of it or something like that. So there were companies doing that. It's pretty good idea, because otherwise the county's not going to go out there and lower the assessed value and help you out with your taxes. So, but it lets you see that kind of stuff too, historical taxes, etc. As you can see here. See, look, this house has been it went down from 90 to 2020. They must have done that during COVID, and then market value back up 163 and then 207, bang, between 2021 and 2022. Okay. What else can we see here? The one we look at a lot.
Stats.
Sales.
Sales.
Yeah, it's hard to read. Sorry. Sales, right? Well, this is something. What do you think happened here? Anybody see that? Do I need to blow this up more? You guys see that? Okay.
That's kind of crazy.
What's crazy about it?
There's no names on there. There's no buyers and sellers. There's no owners. Well, I guess there is up top, but
I mean, yeah, these are the people. It is unusual. There's no seller and buyer.
Yeah.
What happened here?
They may have gotten married. No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, did they split a parcel?
No, they put up a couple parcels together, it looks like. But no, they bought the whole property for $600 and they built a house. They pulled the building permit in 1988, like we saw. So these people built this house in 1988.
Oh, got it.
So they built their own house and they still live there. Good for them. So what else can we find here on this page that one of my favorite things about this? We can find off MLS deals. We can find MLS deals and off MLS deals. Deals you'll find here might not be in the MLS. That's what I'm getting at. So if you're really struggling with comps and you think people might have sold stuff off the MLS or whatever, you can look here. And you can see. You can see this one's a 3.2. It's sold for $184 a square foot. This one sold for $158. You can see the pictures here. Nothing fancy, but you can compare that with your MLS, pulling your MLS comps and see if there are things on here that aren't on your MLS comps, because this is the actual record of what sold for what. Okay. So you can get extra information for a CMA or anything else here. All right. What else can we do here? Anybody know anything else we can do here on any of these pages? Yes, Pollock. Pollock, you have a hand up? Okay, guess not. What else can we do here?
So you can research their deeds through the instruments.
Okay. Where is that?
Scroll back down.
Yep.
So for me, working with land, that's more of a bigger item because I'm trying to research access issues, boundary issues, any other related things. The only problem I run into sometimes, I'm sorry, if you look at the upper left hand where it says view images,
Yep.
that should be the link to it. But depending on how old the property is or when the last time it was sold, I should say, it may or may not have a visible link because they don't, depending on the county or the jurisdiction, they only go back so far as for when they upload them into the database. Otherwise, you have to go locally and file through the fish tapes or filing cabinets to find information. But that's a means to find something that's more recent, last 30 years or so.
Yep. Excellent. We're really getting in these people's business. I love it. All right. Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
I must say, I think this is one of the better appraiser sites because I don't think some of the other counties have a lot of this information available in their site. Do you?
Most of them do, but it's hard to find. This is a good site. Yes,
Yeah.
Of all the sites that we see, this is a good one. Pollock, yes, the appraiser will look up comps from public records. They don't just use MLS. All right. So Paula couldn't get her microphone working, but that was her question. What else can we do here? That's not working. You can see a plat. I've not used the sketch. There's all kinds of things that we can. Oh, here's a sketch of the layout of the house. Oops.
I think you can on the first tab. There's a plat. You can click on the little house, I think, and something comes up.
I don't remember that address. I accidentally closed out of there. There it is. I do remember it. What happened? There's a what? I'm sorry.
Do property features.
Mm-hmm.
And scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
Hit on that house, more details under building. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where this. Yeah.
That sketch comes up there too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Guys.
So this view could also be helpful when you're trying to validate a permit, something being built, because if it's been permitted, it'd be added into this more likely.
Yeah. I don't know if you can rely on that, but yeah, should be on here. You'd like to think you could. I actually didn't know about that thing. I just knew about the other ones. Cool. So I learned something too. This is where you get your beds and bath and square footage and all this stuff, guys. And this is where it should automatically fill from when you're using the autofill on MLS, it should automatically fill. But when you're looking up, you're verifying things, look in here to verify the square footage and everything else. And that's how you find out you don't get your buyer to buy something that hasn't been permitted or approved. Okay. That way, 5 years from now, when they call you and say, they're telling me that my thing's not permitted, that I've got this porch on here is not permitted. And you say, I wonder what happened. Well, you didn't notice it when we bought it, right? So these customers that you want to keep for years and years and years, they're not going to be too happy when you have them buy something that's not permitted. Then they got to deal with it, right? What other questions do we have this morning? Or what other things can we do here?
So scroll back up.
Here's a view plat. I'll see if this works this time. Nope, plat's not working. Scroll back up.
So go to where it says map.
Map.
Map provides you an interactive link that can provide you just an endless amount of detail regarding the property and surrounding area, with its multiple layers of foreclosures, sales, partial search, legend information, Orange County tools. I mean, printing, custom printing. I mean, just tons and tons of information that you can see there regarding a property.
Yes. So these county GISs, they do typically take a while to load because they have a ton of information, ton of visual information. I know other counties have it as well. I've seen Lake counties and Seminole County. Oops, I just zoomed in. Oh, there it is. That's the piece. They put me on it. All right. So here it is. Usually there's an identify button. Every county is a little different. There's the identify. You can see everything there down this list. But if you want to see the neighbors, because you're trying to put land together, this is why Clarence uses it a lot. You're trying to put land together. I want to see who owns the property next to it. So I click on this. Why is it not letting me do that? Why is it not letting me do that? I want parcel search. I like to put my I'm looking for to put the aerial on there. That's usually under layers.
It might be under partial themes.
All right. No. Anyway, you can do this. You can look at the neighbors. I don't know why it's not letting me do. Maybe because I just went in here instead of the county GIS. But usually you can click on the neighbors and get information like that. I think maybe it's because I went through here on this specific property, Clarence, and I didn't go through GIS. I mean, it's telling me who owns these.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just one of those scenarios where you've got to play with it.
Oh, wait, it did it. So it switched. So here's the Haygoods who live here. You just told me that one. So it gives you information on all these different people.
You know, I mean, the further cool thing is if you're concerned about zoning or something, you know, particularly if it's vacant land, you can, look at the zoning for the information, future land use information. I mean, it's just, it's really bountiful. I mean, the information that you can get.
Yeah. What else can we do here? I mean, that's quite a lot, right? That's a lot of information. And I get a lot of questions, a lot of about stuff that you can find on here. And I want to help you guys just so you're more efficient with your buyers and sellers and everyone else. And even doing your own research and stuff to try to figure stuff out. But, I get so many questions about the permits part. I really want to cover the permits part, the other sales outside of the MLS. You guys have had clients call you out over that before, over you give them, say, oh, well, only 2 things have sold in this neighborhood in the last 6 months. And then they send you the list of 5 from the property appraiser site. I've seen them do that. And you say, oh, I didn't know about those. Like, because you're not really doing thorough research. You're just looking on MLS. So lots of sales, guys. So many sales happen outside of the MLS, especially if you're talking about land and commercial stuff, but any kind of stuff. So many sales happen outside of MLS. And a lot of them are arm's length. Yeah, go ahead, Clarence.
Yeah, I agree. And again, particularly for me, because dealing with land, it's unique. It's not like a neighborhood of homes where, there's something selling, quite frequently in the land industry. It's much different. And so, depending on the MLS is going to be difficult because most land deals don't happen in the MLS. And so that's where I go into the local county or property appraiser's office, and I can pull all the sales over the recent period of time. And it's really, really very helpful. Plus, it helps with the CMAs to go along with that.
Yeah. CMAs are tough to do. Any kind of comps are tough to do for most commercial, unless it's just a straight commercial investment property, strip mall or a mall or something like that. But comps are so hard to pull on land commercial at all, especially if you're doing stuff, land for subdivision or land for development, that's going to have to go through a process that's going to take 9 months to 2 years. Something that's closed and showing as a closed sale in MLS by the time, I'm sorry, in on the property appraiser side or in MLS, which they typically aren't. But by the time yours is going to close 2 years later, or a year and a half later, or 9 months later, that comp's no good anyway. You know, so something that closed last week, if I was putting a piece of property for a subdivision under contract tomorrow, what something closed for last week really doesn't mean that much to me, because this is going to be, you know, we're looking about a year and a half, 2 years. So, so that's the tricky part about that. But at least you have the information. You can tell the seller, you know, what stuff is going for. But guys, for residential stuff, check here too. You already have to come on here anyway to get the information. Go ahead and check the sales. Go ahead and scroll all the way down, because I know you guys look too, right? You guys always look at what they paid for the house before you go to a listing appointment. You should be looking at seeing what they paid for the house. Because first of all, you make sure they're the real owners. Second of all, make sure they paid for the house, how much they paid for the house. And then while you're being nosy and searching there, because it really doesn't make a difference about what the house is worth today, but it's nice to know what they paid for it. But as you're searching the sales, just scroll down a little bit more, okay? And see you can look on MLS and you can see what everybody did, and they'll do a fancy little report for you. But see what other people have done as well. And some of these I guarantee there's some on here. Well, this is within similar sales within the last year. There's 30 plus pages of them. So tons of them. Boy, it says 146. So there's tons of them. Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, you can export that to Excel, can't you, to manipulate it further?
I have never done that. You probably can. You probably can. I don't know about that. So I'm going to stop here. So what do we think? Any other thoughts on that? Nothing. What else you guys want to discuss? How's everything going out there in the market?
I have a question.
Yes, Tammy.
I'm selling a new construction. It's like an individual builder up in Wearsville or Bellevue or something.
Bellevue or Wearsdale. Yes, one of those.
Yeah. Wearsdale, yes. I've been on the trek. So if the builder is going to provide a warranty, do they provide it in writing? Do they have something written out?
Yeah, it should be.
Should they, and they may not provide one, correct? It might just be as is.
It would be unusual for them not to have a warranty.
Well, the guy told me there was one, but it's kind of a weird feeling situation. But like the realtor, when I look back on the title search, he was part of some of the transaction. It was kind of weird, but he didn't want to fix any of the little, like the medicine cabinet was on the counter, and there's like little paint things, just little things that a normal buyer would do a walkthrough and mark with blue tape on a normal production builder. And he's like, can we give you some money? And the buyer fix it, and the air conditioners, kind of angled funny. And I said, well, even a production builder will let you walk through. And he goes, I think they're being a little nitpicky. I'm like, well, even a production builder will allow you to walk through and do a walkthrough and tape off and make comments on things they want fixed. And so he goes, okay, we'll fix them. So the other thing about this property is the HOA is not formulated yet. It's a street with 8 homes, and 2 homes are not completed yet. So once the houses are completed, I'm thinking this would be a nightmare HOA with 8 people, with 8 homeowners, and 4 or 5 of them are on the board. It's kind of weird. So I asked, could my buyer emailed you about the driveway. He ends up being okay with everything, but he's like, oh yeah, we can approve anything because the HOA is not set up yet and we're the owners. So he's kind of an owner, I guess, of the, I don't really know. It's in a trust, but, so I just didn't know. I don't even know. It seems kind of like not fly by night. It's a nice home. It's pretty, did pretty well in the inspection, but just the way they've handled things, I don't know about this warranty situation.
Okay. So that doesn't make sense. There's something about that doesn't make sense. And that's the HOA.
Oh, really?
Until a builder sells those lots, whoever owns those lots is HOA. If you have an empty lot in a subdivision or you have a house, you're in a subdivision, not a condo, but a subdivision, everybody's HOA is the same.
Well, there are documents. There are HOA documents.
I understand, but there has to be.
Aren't in place.
Well, right. Well, if the builder still owns 2 of the lots, they just have double the vote. There's no reason not to put, if 5 or 6 of the homes are being built or owned by other people, there needs to go ahead and put an HOA together. You don't wait for everything to be built out. Right. I mean, there's plenty of subdivisions around town where not every lot is built on and they have an HOA. You don't have to do that. So the developer sits on that board until it gets done. This thing should be kicked into motion. And it needs to be before, I would want it to be there before I built my house, because I want to know all the rules and regulations and what laws are going to be passed or bylaws.
I think the rules and regulations are all spelled out because
they have them. Yes, they have them. But the board's going to come in and make new ones and stuff. So I want it to be established. There absolutely is always, at some point, the builder owned all 8 lots, and then they owned 7, and then 6, and then 5. So, but at one point they had 8 votes, and they had 7 votes, and 6 votes, and 5 votes. They still own those lots. They still have those votes. They need to go ahead and put everything together. There's no reason not to. It does sound like this is maybe the only thing they got going on, and they're not used to it or something. But there's an attorney behind this whole thing that did the HOA that's helping them. But they need to. It sounds like they're just doing it half-hearted.
So what do I do? I'm past my inspection period by like a day, and there's no HO.
There's nothing. There's no reason to back out the deal or anything.
Okay.
So tell the builder that you want that your insurance company needs the warranty in writing. They need to see it. They need to see the warranty.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Which is probably going to be the case. Yes.
So I'd like to just comment, because I was in a similar situation where I moved into a new neighborhood a couple decades ago, I guess. And the neighborhood HOA, before it was established by a board, was ran by a management company. So an association management company. And so then they maintained the HOA, if you will, until enough members of the community had moved in to formulate a board, and then it transferred to them, and then it ran like a normal HOA process. So I guess that's probably where you're at in that scenario.
Do I need to caution the buyer about anything, or like just once I get my commission check, I saw your problem? I mean, because he'll have to deal with the board problem, or I don't know who's orchestrating setting up the board.
So for us in that scenario, I would like to say it was a seamless transition, but it wasn't. And it wasn't only because of the new board members arguing amongst themselves who was going to be president and that type of thing. And then, agreeing on the bylaws and so on from there. So the first year or two was some adjustments with the HOA, but in short, it just happened. It's just day to day, we moved from the operations of the management company to the board, and then them just trying to figure out, how to run it from there. So yeah, I don't think there's anything you need to do as a realtor, just to let them know that there is going to be a transition.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I love that. I don't think, I hope they don't have a 5-member board out of 8 lots.
Well, I know it's kind of like crazy. Why would you even do that?
You would run to not be on the board.
Pardon?
It would be a privilege not to be on the board. I would pick me to not be on the board. I'm running for that. Any other questions? So you should be fine, Tammy. And yeah, it does seem like a really small operation if they're just saying, here's a concession, you guys deal with that.
Yeah.
We're not coming back. But you know what? They don't have. So if you have those problems at Pulte or Lennar or some kind of big builder, they've already got the subs on site every day, and they just say, just stop by 5407 and fix the refrigerator. Whatever. fix the air conditioner, because they're already on site every day. And so these guys, they've got to get a sub out there, and it's probably more expensive. You know, it's kind of like I tell you guys all the time, if you get some request for repairs from your seller of by a licensed plumber, by a licensed contractor, by a licensed this and a license that, to the buyer's satisfaction, see if they'll take money, because that's a headache. That's a whole nother thing you're getting into. To the buyer's satisfaction, which is a completely subjective, nonsense thing.
Maybe I should have taken the money, because who knows what degree they're going to fix it to.
Oh, well, you stay on them, Tammy. You never let them go if it doesn't. That's the whole point. That's why they offered that, because they're afraid that you're going to never let them go if it has to be to the buyer's satisfaction, which is why I tell you guys, if you can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Tell me what you guys are seeing out there. What are you seeing out there, supply and demand wise? Nothing. No supply, no demand. I love it. You guys are doing great.
There's definitely demand,
Pollock says buyer leads have slowed down a lot. Not as many buyers are discouraged. Buyers are scared. Rates have been down a little bit. What are you guys seeing out there for buyers? Pollock says they're waiting for a recession with a sad face. Yes, I agree. That's a sad thing. And yeah, a lot of them say that. Yes. So I think there's a lot of that out there. There is some lack of consumer confidence. People are scared. People are a little bit scared that value is going to drop, or that they think values are going to hold steady until rates come down, which may be true. We don't know. But there's still people, life still happens to people. They still need to move. They still change jobs, and they still move here and they move there, and they finally get to move down to Florida to be with their mom because somebody retired, or because somebody's job is remote now, or whatever. And so they finally get to move here, and whatever it is, life never stops just because interest rates go up. People still need to move. People still need to do things, get on with their life, sell, etc. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. What else is going? Looking for home loan lenders. Is anyone? Daryl wants to know if anyone is doing any spring marketing. His microphone does not work.
Oh, shoot. I'll do that Reminder Media magazine. That would,
Tammy's doing the magazine. She's getting in your house with the magazine. To how many people are you doing it to? Every what, 2 months, Tammy? 3 months? Is it every 2 months?
I think it's 2. Well, it's going to keep growing, but I think I do like a group 50, and then the next 2 months I do another 50.
Okay.
It's like $200 for like 50-ish of them.
How do you feel like that's doing for you?
I don't know.
Okay. Angie says it's really good for her. I think really good is if you get a couple of deals out of it, that's pretty good, because it's not much.
Well, you don't really know, because you're sending it usually to past clients, so you're just keeping your name in front of them.
Which is great.
Right.
Which is great. And that's the kind of thing that pays off without knowing that it does. Oh, nice. Daryl left some magazines at his last doctor visit, and he did ask for permission, apparently. Some of you probably don't. Some of you probably just go in there and leave them. But there you go. That's nice. Good. Daryl, I saw that you have a virtual business card or something that you shared on your social media. I know you can type whatever you want to type, but Daryl, if you guys are Facebook friends with Daryl, check out his new business card, Blink. Yeah, BLINQ. It was pretty cool. I clicked on it. and it was pretty cool. It shared all of his information just with a click. So that was really nice. It's okay. I haven't figured out how to make it a PNG yet. I don't either. So that was really cool. And yeah, I know what a PNG is, Daryl. It's an image. A ping pong. Yes, I got it. Okay, so I'm not that old. Another thing, investor inquiries have dropped as well, and the ones who are looking. Oh my gosh, guys, are you guys not getting a million cash buyers wanting to buy every single thing? Are you not getting a bunch of text and just constant nonsense? And some of them are spammers. Some of them even say reply stop to end this in these messages or something like that too. But yeah, everybody. And it's just like fake stuff. Like, hey, Mike, got any more cash listings and whatever? Whatever. I'm a cash buyer. Let me know, Ryan at cashbuyer.com, nonsense stuff, but it's out there. There's a ton of it, and they want to offer 150 grand for your $300,000 listing and just annoy you. And why won't the seller take this? Why won't the seller? It's been on the market a week. Why won't the seller take it? So it's just insane. Well, what is a good number? Listing price.
Right.
Or you can counter with more than listing price and say that's a special price for you, 310. So just to annoy them.
I've actually done that.
What's that?
I've actually done that.
Yeah, I have to. And they say, but on MLS, so this is the seller's special price for you. And guys, don't be afraid also in this climate to put on your listing agreements. When you talk to your sellers, put on the listing agreement in the additional terms that I won't waste your time with offers under a certain amount. So you don't even have to present those. Okay. And you don't have to present them anyway most of the time, because most of the time they're just sending you an email or will the seller consider this? And you don't have to present that. That's not a written offer. Okay. Make sure that's in there too, that you only present written offers, not verbal offers, because verbal offers are nonsense, and text is considered verbal offer. That's not. It's got to be on a contract to be a written offer. Okay, even if it's a contract on a napkin, but it has to be like a real contract signed by someone. All right. Any other questions or comments? Also, I want to cover one more time for ethical purposes with realtors, and this rule is a couple of years old. We talked about it about a month ago. I think I brought it up, or 2 months ago. If someone sends you a contract and they ask you to respond that you received it, you must respond that you received it. If they don't ask you to respond that you received it, then you don't have to. But if they ask for it, you have to say received. Received, and you can say received and submitted, whatever. If it's one of these nonsense ones and they say, and they will do that, here's your $150,000 offer for your $300,000 listing. Please let me know that you've received this. Even if you're not submitting it, just say received. Okay. If you're submitting it, say received and submitted. Okay. So, don't lie. If you didn't submit it, don't say you submitted it, but you can say you received it. Did everybody follow that? Mm-hmm. If they ask, you must, and an actual written offer, you must say that you must respond to them that you've received it. All right. Any other questions or comments? You guys are comment and question free today. Anybody got anything for the good of the order?
So yes, I'm a new kid on the block here with this Google Meet. So as I look at my picture on here, I see my name listed as you. Is it listed as my name on your end or what?
No, yours says you.
Really?
No, everybody says you on your own. And the reason we're laughing at you, Clarence, is because Tammy did the same thing right before you got on, I guess.
Thanks, Tammy.
She said, how do you get your name on here? And it looks fine. It looks like Tammy Pipkin to me. But she's like, it says you.
Cool.
Mine says you also, just so you know.
Gotcha. All right, just making sure. And then I put in the chat box, but I'm working on a project for a VA home loan. items. And so if you guys happen to have a lender that you would prefer to recommend, I would appreciate if you'd share that with me. My email address is in the chat, but it's clarence@clarencearms.com. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome.
Excuse me a little bit. We talked in the past about scams and fraud, stuff like that. I mean, just recently, but I was on 2 webinars last week where other people, there's scams of, I think Tammy had some, somebody else had some where it seems to be the seller of the property, but not really the seller, and actually get pretty far. They're very prevalent right now. Even title companies with emails, fraud, and people from well, you don't know where they're at, but even the scammers watching emails going back and forth from title companies and agents are pretty tricky to catch sometimes. And sometimes it'll be just something in the subject line that's different, but the title companies are telling me that the paperwork, the logos, the insignia, everything signatures will look very, very close to exactly what you would expect it to be, and it's not. So we really have to pay attention, and especially with wiring and stuff like that, make sure you have clients and title companies, whoever is involved, to really make a phone call and verify. So just be careful.
Yeah, Mike, yeah, that's what's going on. Lots of scams, and they're not just getting very far. They're closing. They're closing deals, taking money. It's working. Like I always say about every scam you hear, and you think how stupid the scam is. They wouldn't do it. It didn't work, and it works. And how hard can it be to fake? 2 witnesses and a notary. Pretty easy.
So, as I mentioned last week, I believe, I'm struggling still on a listing that I'm trying to wrap up with a buyer that's not being cooperative. But the other side, well, there's two. I'm sorry, not buyer, but the owners. So there's 2 owners. One is very cooperative, one is not. So working through that issue. But the further part of this with the scams is the AI issue. I mean, now things are even more easy to duplicate or replicate. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people post headshots where they've used AI to replicate their photos, and how eerily close they are to the real thing. So for myself, I want to try to do all the due diligence I can and try to get driver's license, copies of other documents with their information on, anything and everything that I can. And then I compile that into a folder, and so that I keep it on hand. So if something happens down the road, I can show that at least I tried to do my due diligence to make sure that it was correct. So for those of you that have those concerns, I would recommend doing something similar to that. So that way you've got something to fall back on, other than just saying, well, I did this and I did that. We have no proof. You have no information. So I would build a case for yourself, keep it on a file someplace, hard drives, whatever you want to do. But just recommendation, try to protect yourself in the process, because at the end of the day, those that do bad deeds will often find a way through, and you'll be their scapegoat if you don't find a way to cover yourself.
And to add that, Clarence, you start asking for stuff right up front. How many times have you guys done stuff with scammers right up front, start asking for stuff and they just disappear, right? They've got tons of these going on at once. If you let them know that you're going to be requiring all these documents all the way along the way, and you're going to be a pain in their butt to get this done, and it's probably not going to work because you're going to be diligent all the way through. If you're diligent at the beginning, like what Clarence is saying, get the copies of your broker demands copies of their driver's license, their passport, their whatever, and the title company does too. Just let them know that. All right. And if I'm a regular, real, honest client or seller, then of course I'll do that stuff. I'm trying to sell a piece of property. I understand I'm going to have to at some point produce identification and get notarized documents and everything else. They're running so many scams that if you're a pain in their butt, they'll typically, they'll disappear. You guys have seen that happen before. And you've probably even thought to yourself, oh man, I shouldn't have been so demanding. I lost that client, but you probably did yourself good by losing that client. Because if they won't produce documents now, this is like what I tell you guys about the buyer brokerage agreement. If they won't sign that, if they don't trust you enough to sign that with you, then they're not going to buy a house with you either. So they don't trust you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. Whatever it is, they're not going to work with you. So that's that. But yes, I love that. And yeah, being demanding up front, blaming it on somebody else. If you want to be the good guy. You guys always play good cop, bad cop. That's why we don't want sellers. Why do we not want sellers at the showings? We don't want the buyer dealing directly with the seller, right? We are the insulation between the seller and the buyer, and the buyer's agent is in there too. And I mean, how many times would seller and buyers be irritated with each other if they had to deal directly with each other? A lot of deals would get crushed by that. They'd be a lot of insults. We sugarcoat a lot of stuff for our clients, right? But also negotiations. It's hard to tell somebody, it's harder to negotiate face to face than it is to have your agent negotiate for you, right? We're all a little bit, your clients are all a little bit more brave. We're not, because we're agents, we're used to it. But clients are not, a lot of them are non-confrontational and would do terrible in a negotiation. We have our clients who sometimes they're desperate and we can't let that on, which they would. And sometimes they're not very nice, our clients. And we, make the whole negotiation thing, or we know they won't budge, and we get that across in a nicer way, right? So you don't want people dealing directly with each other on that, but it's the same way with your brokerage and all the stuff. When you deal with your client, your brokerage is the bad guy, you're the good guy. Your broker demands the transaction fee. I would never do that to you guys, but the broker does it. The broker, my mean old broker charges this. My mean old broker says you have to sign a buyer brokerage agreement. It's for their own good. It binds you to serve them in a certain way, right? So it's all in the way that you present that, but there is good cop, bad cop. You don't want them dealing directly with mean old Ryan, and Carissa's even worse than I am. You don't want them dealing with us directly, right? So it's you guys who are the buffer, and we're the bad guys. You're the good guys. Good cop, bad cop. All right. So when these people try to scam you, or if they're not trying to scam you, even if they're just letting you know they got property they want to sell, just be careful. If it's, I got to sell it real soon, I got to sell it, just whatever you get for it's fine. Not a rational person doesn't operate like that. And that's probably, if they say, what do you think it's worth? And you say, I don't know, maybe 200,000. Great. Put it on for that. And then they get an offer for 130 in the first week and they take it without negotiating it. It's a scam. Okay. Probably a scam. All right. So there you go. But always get that information. Any other questions or comments? The more you push them, the more that they'll back down if they are scamming, because they don't want to deal with that. They don't think the likelihood of this getting done is very good if everybody's going to be diligent the whole time, right? They're looking for lazy ones. And Mike, you mentioned you don't know where they are. Typically, they're not going to be in this country, even if they were from this country. They're not going to be in this country because the FBI will be on them if they're successful. They will find them. I think the FBI finds these IPs of the people who pull this off. They find them, but they're not in our jurisdiction. So most of them are overseas. If not foreign nationals, they are expatriates. They're not doing it from American soil typically. Any other questions or comments? Nothing? All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for doing our first Google Meet. So Clarence, you aren't the only new person on Google Meet. This is most of our first Google Meet. And so it was quite a transition, but everybody looks great. I kind of like the format. I don't know if you guys do. You guys figured out all the hand raising, and I don't know if you messed around with the bottom of it, but Daryl never figured out the hand raising. Mandy figured it out. She raised her hand.
The only thing different is that I can only see 9 people, whereas the other one.
And it says 8 others. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't arrow over to the screen to see. Well, I guess you can see the list on the side.
You can see the list on the side. Yeah. I don't like that either.
But if other people are on camera, you really can't see them, kind of.
Oh, so I raised my hand, but when I started talking, it took it down. It says it looks like you've been talking. Looks like you've said something. Your hand will be lowered. Okay. My mic worked when I joined, then stopped. Did you turn me off? Daryl wants to know if I muted him. No, I wish I could. Oh no, it says it's working now. Talk. You know, no, I never could hear you, Daryl. From the beginning, when I said hello and you didn't say anything back, I saw your mouth move, but no, it never worked. It's something on your computer that's not on. No, well, maybe not because your Zoom worked, so I don't know.
Your camera didn't do anything bad today. You know, your
No.
camera?
No, my camera, it's great. It look really good too. Any other, my eyes are failing me.
So in order to see more tiles, if you go to the 3 little dots there beside the phone icon, and go up to change layout,
There you go.
you can increase the number of tiles, and it'll show tiles and more videos.
Cool.
There you go.
I learned something.
Yay.
You learned something and taught something.
That's right. Go me.
Oh, now we can see Mandy raising her hand. Yes, Mandy.
Wait, my camera's this way. There's captions on this, guys.
There's what?
Captions.
Yes, I could turn captions on.
Cool. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that from now on. Yeah, there's a place to turn captions on. Oh, you know what I should do? I wonder if I can do that. Anyway, guys, I guess I'm going to play on this all day. Oh, wait. I just messed up. I'm trying to do something because I get this question a lot. Okay. I'm going to switch. All right, now it should be in Spanish. Let's see if our captions are in Spanish now.
But I still hear you in English.
It'll be reading in Spanish, but it's not because I'm not speaking Spanish, I guess. I don't know why it's not working.
I don't see captions.
All right, try to say something in Spanish.
See,
Hola.
it's not working. Well, now turn it back on. So it's not working in Spanish. It worked in English. They were on the bottom of the screen. Did you guys see them in English?
I didn't see
Okay.
anything.
Oh, it's just for me then. Oh no, I see, Tammy. I'm seeing them on my screen because I turned them on for my screen. I didn't turn them on for the whole thing.
Is that the closed caption you hit?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys not seeing that? Because now I'm seeing that.
Oh, now I see it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. But I wonder why it wouldn't go in Spanish. I guess it doesn't.
Okay, I've got to check out for another meeting. You guys have a great day.
Oh no, Clarence, we're gonna be out here all day figuring this out. Come back.
Okay,
Come back.
I'll come back. I'll come back after lunch. Okay. See you.
I guess Daryl's wouldn't work on closed caption because he doesn't have a microphone, right?
Well, I don't know.
Say something.
I kind of like Daryl not having a microphone. I didn't know that was a feature. Is that a bug or a feature? I think it's a feature.
Hola, Ryan, bienvenido.
There you go.
That's because that's what you said. And
Thank
yes,
you.
I'm welcome here. All right. Anyway, sorry to bother everybody with this, but I'm just trying to figure it out. We'll figure it out later. But I was trying to help out some of our Spanish speaking people out because sometimes we all talk too fast. That they have a hard time understanding, even if they speak English. So I was trying to help them out. But I think on their computers they can probably
A fairy cottage.
change it to Spanish.
This is so great.
How are you doing that?
Me?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what I clicked.
Oh, apply visual
What-
effects.
Apply visual effects, yes. Apply visual effects and a whole bunch of stuff pops up. This is way cooler than Zoom. Oh wow, what is this?
Monsters Inc. maybe.
I think it froze.
Oh, okay. I messed up, guys. I can do it. Hold on a second.
Surprised Daryl's all this messing around. Alien.
Oh, it's working. Okay. This is working now. Está bueno.
I just stepped outside for a moment.
Yeah, it worked.
Outer space.
Oh my gosh. All right, we gotta go. This is ridiculous. All right, we gotta go, but at least I'm translated to Spanish now at the bottom of the screen.
Not my screen.
It still looks English.
Oh, okay. So you got to do it yourself. So, but you can go to those
I
three
make it
dots.
personal.
If you go to those three dots and turn on captions, it's going to say English. So I'll have to teach them. All right, Mandy, I've got to take you off my screen. I'm kicking you out of the meeting. So,
You wanted me on camera. Here we go.
yes, my mistake. Okay, so yeah, so each person could have to do that. There's look at Daryl. All right, I'm gonna leave the meeting. You guys can stay on for as long as you want, and you won't get anything done this week.
Okay, I'm done. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye bye. I'm ending this meeting. I don't know how to. Boy, if I knew how, I would.